All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody is doing really well. Gonna get ready to go fairly soon. But hopefully the vibes are banging and we got ourselves a nice simple day here today. At least I hope so anyway. That's the aim. Just hope this isn't too loud, so. Hello, Anna, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. I am doing wonderful today. I'm doing very good today. Cheska, hey, happy Monday to you. Happy Monday. I know Mondays are kind of a rougher day, but hey, you know what? Let's make it have some fun. Let's enjoy ourselves, yeah? Good morning, Kristen. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Michael, good morning. Good morning to you, my friend. Good morning. How are you? How are you doing this morning? I hope everybody who's coming here in the chat is doing really good this morning. Hopefully you're happy, ready, and safe and ready to go. Megan, good morning to you. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing very well. 9 p.m. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. for you, Aiken, but you know what? I hope you're having a wonderful night here tonight, wherever you're at. You love these Twitch classes? It's my favorite. Way better than Zoom. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I like to give it a different look than unlike Zoom. So I'm glad you're liking it so far, Cool Dad. I know we're already in kind of just in our first actual formal week, but yeah, I'm glad you're liking it so far. That's wonderful to hear. It's always a nice, free, and open forum for you guys. So just try to keep it as chill as possible, right? Man, it's gonna be fun today. Look at that. I think it's gonna be fun today. I think we're gonna have a nice time. I'm sure. Let's have some nice fun here today, yeah? Let's have some fun. Always happy not to have to stare at my face during class? Yeah, I know, right? I have to stare at my face and then be like, you got a little stubble there. But it's okay. I'll sacrifice myself for the cause, okay? Okay, Athena, no problem. I have no issues sacrificing myself for the cause. All right. All right, very good, very good, very good. All right. Much as I want to keep the vibes going, we got to make sure we can get those replays going. All right. Hopefully, all of you are doing really, really good today. Thank you so much for everybody coming on out here for once again. All right. All right, let's do this. Let's do this intro, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get started today. Welcome back to Monday. Hopefully, you're a nice weekend. All right, so today we're going to pick up where we left off last time. We went over the syllabus, we went over my math lab, we went over the overview for this course here. So hopefully, you gotten pretty comfortable with that. If you have questions regarding that, again, feel free to email me about that. I received some emails here. I have to check my email today. I haven't done that just yet. But I'll be checking those and answering those at any time. I hope you guys had a simple time at least following along from last time. That'll be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, however, do have some new material to do here. Joseph, thank you very much for the follow. We do have some new material to do here today. We're going to be doing some chapter 1 stuff. Okay, so we're going to be doing sections 1-1 to 1-6. We'll see how far we get. I don't know if we'll finish it all in the hour time span necessarily, but we're going to try and get as much as we can done. As I mentioned here, probably last time, but just as a friendly reminder, remember that most of chapter 1 here is just definitions, definitions, and more definitions. All right, so the real math stuff starts in chapter 2, but pretty much it's just going to be like lots of different types of definitions and different things that we'll be talking about here throughout the course and be mentioning here and there. All right, Yusuf, how are you doing, my dude? Yeah, my day just started, my dude. Doing well already. Look, I got all these wonderful people here, and we're all having a grand old time. I see nothing wrong with any of this. Um, all right, so what I'm going to do next is let me go ahead and switch over here. All right. Oh wait, that's my. Why is it on that screen? Okay, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Give me just a second here. I could have sworn that I put my output screen as my first. Oh, right. Okay. You notice that I swear I could have thought I put my output screen to be the other one, but that was not the case. At least I thought it would be. Oh, we'll just have to do it the other way. Um, okay, I'll just have to do it the other way. Fine. All right, I can work with this. I can work with all of this. All right, move this here, and sorry about that. All right, let's go back. All right. So we're going to be looking at today 1-1 to 1-3 handout here. I know. You can tell, like, yeah, look at this janky setup here. That's fair. That's fair. All right, I'll probably make that adjustment here for next class, but we'll just work with what we got. All right, so today we got the handout here for 1-1-1-2-1-3, and then we'll also look at the handout here for 1-4, 1-5, and 1-6 as well. Okay, if we get around to doing that, just depends. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here at question number 1, and we'll work our way forward from there. All right. So again, you could go ahead, write this out, print this out, whatever you want. You're good to go. All right, number 1, what are some basic terms that can be used when talking about sampling? All right, so some of these things that we're going to be talking about here today, you're going to hear me talk about here throughout the course of the semester, but let's talk about here probably the most important part here about statistics, and that is talking about sampling here. All right, first and foremost here, we're going to take a look at the first word here. We're going to take a look at population. All right. All right. So what is a population? A population is an entire group that will be studied. All right. So if we take a look here, think about it this way. All right. Everybody, an example of a population would be, again, it's exactly as you think, like a population of a country. How many people are citizens of, say, that particular country? All right. Um, so an entire group that will be studied certainly is definitely is one of those. All right. So i.e. All the students. All right. all students at ECC. Okay, so that's a pretty prime example. Not too hard. There you go. All right. All right. Next, let's talk about what a sample is because we have the word sampling. Well, there is the word sample. All right. So, what exactly is a sample? A sample is a subset of the population. Okay, so we could take a subset of the population. That could be, for example, here, that could be in regards to, say, a class or a particular age group, or again, the amount of the credit hours a particular student has. Okay, we could put that as a subset of the population here of all the students at ECC. Or again, um, age group, or again, gender, or whatever you want to call it. It just depends. All right, so i.e. age group, all age group of students at ECC. All right, so that's a pretty classic example there. Now, we'll be talking about another couple of definitions here. Let's discuss those. First of all, I'll be referring to a data set. Now, we'll be looking at lots of different sets of data here in this class, but you'll often hear me say two things in relation to data. First of all is the data set. Data set is of just a group of data. And a group of data, again, what's data here? It's going to be, again, numbers or items listed, okay, for individuals. Okay, so like for example, here we'll look at in chapter 2. We'll say, okay, well, what did student number 1 get on their test? Okay, they got an 85 on their test. Okay, whatever. All right, that's data. And then if we group all those test scores together, that'll be a data set. Now, as is mentioned here we have a data point. Okay, I call it data point or data items. All right, so we call data item data point. You'll hear it kind of, I'll kind of mix it together here. In any case, this is an individual score or item related. So individual score item. So that particular student getting an 85. All right, so that i.e. the individual score. Okay, for example. Okay. Just as a simple example here, that's pretty much how it'll go. All right, so really not too hard, but you'll hear me kind of sprinkle this kind of vocabulary throughout the course of the semester here. So if I'm saying, okay, I'm looking at this data item, or I'm looking at this data set, then you know what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about a sample population, then you know what I'm talking about. So these are some important terms here. When we talk about sampling, we talk about, again, individuals as well. All right, so but really we talk about a data item in relation to that. All right, in any case, we could also put individual, actually. I may come up with this. So again, the formal definition here is a person or object that is a member of the population being studied. All right, so I'll put that as a simple enough one. There you go. Yeah. All right. So we got that. We'll move forward. Okay. Now, let's talk about next question here. Okay. So the next question here is talking about what is a statistic? Exactly what is a statistic here? And a statistic is basically comes down to this. It's a numerical, the formal definition here is a numerical summary of a sample. Okay. So typically what we do here when it comes to statistics and any statistical study, it always comes down to saying, hey, we take a cross section of people and then we kind of extrapolate that to the entire population. All right, so then we could see like general trends of a particular population, whether that be, say, political polling numbers, or whether that be how many defective items that you have in a particular lot if you're manufacturing a particular item. Okay, in any case, A statistic is going to be a numerical summary of that sample there. We can't test everything necessarily. That's maybe not the most realistic thing to do, but we can test a small subsection of that, and we have a summary kind of associated with that to see what the generic pattern is going to be, and we base some conclusions based off of that. A parameter here. What is a parameter? Well, surprisingly enough, at least if you're going to talk about a parameter, it's pretty much the same as a statistic. There's only one difference, right? This is a numerical summary of a population. So that's pretty much all it is, a numerical summary of a population instead of the sample. Um, so it's kind of rare when we get a population to work out. So just because usually the populations are pretty large. So, but yes, do talk about parameters at times. So it's there. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. All right. Any questions so far? Any questions? Go with that first. Go poke. Okay. See if I can grab this. My music stream. Switch that. All right. No questions. See? So far, so bueno. All right. All right. Excellent. All right. Let's give it a. Let's continue moving forward here. All right. Next, what are variables and data? Now we've talked about data here, so since I've already described what data really is, I'm going to kind of skip that part there since that's answered in question number 1. But let's talk about variables here really quick. All right, we're going to talk about types of variables here. All right. So variables talk about the characteristics. It's the formal definition, characteristics of an individual within the population. So this can literally describe almost anything. Age range, it could talk about gender, it could talk about the state you live in, the city you live in, all right, your how much money you made last year, whatever. There's so many different variables and so many different things that you have to factor in. Yeah, okay, you can literally make a variable about literally anything. But for what we want to look at here specifically is we want to look at specific types of variables here and how we're going to classify them. All right, so let's take a good look here at the next question and let's see what we're working with. Number 5, what are qualitative and quantitative variables? All right, so let's look at both here and yeah, let's define them. All right, first of all, let's look at a qualitative variable. All right, so this is a variable. Let's formally define this. This allows for a classification of individuals based on an attribute or characteristic. Okay, so this again goes back to our, again, you could say age range. Okay, so let's say you're 18 to 34. All right, then that's an attribute or characteristic. Let's say you're between the ages of 18 and 34. That's an attribute or characteristic for each individual that you can associate with. Okay, so that would be a qualitative variable. All right. Okay. Next, let's do the next one here. All right, let's look at quantitative. If I could spell, I never know how to spell this. I'm super bad at spelling. All right. we're gonna try our best. All right. So a quantitative variable is a variable that provides a numerical measure, okay, of individuals. So this would be, say, for example here, using our last example here is how many people within an age range, okay? So instead of saying, okay, I have 18 to 34 people, which would be the category in question. Well, how many people in my sample are between the ages of 18 and 34? All right, you could say, well, I have 10 people, 10 people between the ages of 18 and 34. All right, Joseph says, wouldn't that be quantitative since it's numerical your age? My age, okay, so my age is a attribute or characteristic as opposed to, so the one thing that you have to be careful about is not every number is necessarily quantitative. All right, we want a numerical measure. Your age, if we're just talking about your age, that's fine. Then you could kind of claim that's quantitative depending on the context that you're working within, Joseph. But to be fair, if you're doing a study and you're doing an age range between, say, 18 and 34, you say, okay, hey, there's 10 people between the ages 18 and 34, then the actual 18 to 34 is the qualitative part, and the quantitative part is the 10 people that fall within that category. So there's a difference, there's a subtle difference between the two things. So just because it's a number doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be quantitative by nature. So be sure not to fall for that trap there. That's one thing to keep in mind there. Yeah, we're gonna take a and I like the question because we're gonna take a look at some examples here to see which one of these things it falls underneath. Okay, so to be fair, at first because we like to associate quantitative with just numbers, be like, okay, but no, in reality, actually, we have to look at it based on the definition itself. All right. Now let's look at two other types of variables here. We're going to look at discrete and continuous variables, and we're gonna look at some examples here, guys. So don't worry. I know I'm kind of bull rushing through these definitions here, but rest assured, we're going to go and look at some examples here, and you guys can tell me which one it is. All right, so, but first, we need some definitions here. So, first of all, we have discrete variables. All right, so this is a quantitative variable. Quantitative variable where there are a finite number of possible values or a countable number of possible values. Okay, what's a good example of a discrete one? Just really simple, right off the bat. You could say the amount of goldfish in a tank. Okay, so let's say you have some goldfish here. You put them in a tank. All right, a tank is a finite space of water, so there can only be a finite amount of goldfish in said tank. You can count up how many goldfish are in that tank. All right, next we have continuous, which is also a quantitative variable, in which where there are an infinite number of possible values or an uncountable number of values. So you could literally put anything in there, okay? In terms of the uncountable, it's totally uncountable. Like there's no way you're going to tell how much is actually in that particular space. Okay, so it's just there's no way you can go ahead and figure that out. So, for example, here, a good example here is the amount of water in the ocean at a random time. Okay, so the amount of water in the ocean at a random time is a perfect example for that. Okay, so you can't really measure that at a random time there. It's and the amount can take on any which value that you want. So Again, you trying to do it as precise as possible, that could be fairly hard. All right. All right. Okay. Let's move forward here. All right. We're going to move forward here, and we're going to look at number 7. We'll define the last two sets of variables, and then we'll look at some examples right after that. So, apologize. We're just going to kind of boom, 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 get these out of the way. All right. Let's take a look at ordinal variables and nominal variables. All right, let's look at first ordinal variables. All right. So basically, this has a property. This basically has a naming. You can put a basically for an ordinal variable, you can put a naming scheme that allows for variables to be arranged or ranked in a specific order. So maybe the easiest way to think of an ordinal variable would be like, okay, let's arrange you based on your last name. Okay, so then of course you could put that in alphabetical order, and all the A's and all the B's and all the C's and all the D's, okay, all the way down to Z. All right, so maybe i.e. using last name. All right, all right. Nominal, on the other hand, basically is you cannot put a scheme. You cannot put a scheme together that puts that variable in a specific order. So just the opposite. All right. So just the opposite. There you go. No problem. All right. So if we're looking at a graph here, would the data point be on the x-axis with the ordinal variable on the y-axis? Well, if it's ordinal here, if you could go in order, sure. If it was like a line, yes. But if it's like it depends on the graph, of course, though. I mean, if it's linear, that's one thing, but what if it was a parabola or something? Well, then putting that in a specific order, if you're saying that y is ordinal, it doesn't make sense because then a graph can curve everywhere, and then you can't really put that in order to kind of put it together. So if you're trying to put those points in order anyway, you could put the x's in order though. That's fine because you could put like the x value is 1, the x value is 2, the x value is 3. Yeah. So there is a significant difference about that. It's subtle, but it actually makes sense when you think about it. A line makes sense underneath that idea, but it doesn't work for every graph. Okay. Now, I'm going to look at number 8 here. And one thing I'm gonna point out here for number 8 is I'm going to go ahead and skip this. I'm not going to test you on this. Obviously, I mentioned that last time. Any questions I'm skip here. I just don't. I looked this over and I'm like, yeah, this kind of doesn't feel like it has a lot of relevance. So we're gonna go ahead and skip this one here. I just want to look at the specifically just those two guys, these six guys: qualitative, quantitative, discrete, continuous, and ordinal and nominal. All right, so we're gonna skip the interval and ratio variables. I don't think that'll be um, it's not all that interesting in all honesty. All right. In any case, let's go ahead and take a look at some examples here. All right. Taking a look at some examples, let's go ahead and bring up the book here. And I'm going to be on page 11. Yeah, page 11 here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this over. All right, let me go ahead and make this half-half. There we are. Okay. All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these guys. All right, so I'm gonna go put two and two together here. So first of all, let's classify some of these guys as qualitative or quantitative. Okay, and there you see on the left, you see the definitions. Okay, so we're gonna see which one that kind of falls underneath. Okay, and we'll talk about it. Okay, now you guys just go ahead and put your answer here in the chat. So let's look at number 15. All right, so let's look at number 15 here. So is number 15, is that going to be qualitative or quantitative? The nation of origin. Is that going to be qualitative or quantitative? What do you guys think? Go ahead and type out your answer there in the chat. What do you guys think? But qualitative there. Qualitative, okay. All right. All right, and that answer is correct. Very good. Yeah, the answer definitely is qualitative, okay? That is a description about where your ancestry is from, okay? So I could say, well, where's my ancestry from? Okay, I could say, oh, my ancestry is from Pakistan. All right, great. All right, but that's a description, all right? So based on my personal attribute or individuality. Yeah. All right. Now, let's take a good look at another one. All right. Let's take a good look here at number 17. So let's look at number 17. Number 17, the grams of carbs in a donut. All right. Grams of carbs in a donut. Quantitative. Okay. Absolutely correct, right? That describes exactly how fat we're going to get right after we eat the donut and feel guilty about ourselves. Okay. I know that's what it is every time I eat fast food, and yet you still can't get enough. All right. Great job, everybody. That is correct. All right. Hey, everybody got a guilty thing. You got to run with it. Anyway, um, okay. All right. Now let's look at number 18. Let's look at 18 here. So let's look at number 18. Number 18 is really next one here. The number on a football player's jersey. Number on a football player's jersey. Say qualitative. Okay. Some qualitatives there, right? Good, good. I know some people are kind of still thinking about it. It's fine. All right, cool, cool. All right, that's correct. The answer is qualitative. That's right. Again, at first when you take a look at it, it's like it's a number, but no, the number on the jersey represents the position that the player will be possibly playing. Okay, so for example here, again, like quarterbacks are usually between, I don't know, they have a particular designation of numbers that you can wear for quarterbacks. I believe that's from like 9 to 18 or something like that. In any case, there's particular numbers that they can have. It is a trick question, yes, but that's the perspective we have to look for, right? Quarterbacks can't wear, say, something like 88, all right? There's special designations for a group of numbers for certain positions. So, all right, let's take a look at one more from this group, and then we'll move on to the next group. All right, how about number 22? Number 22. Student ID number. All right. See some really good answers here. Good, good, good. Excellent. All right. That's correct. So the answer is definitely qualitative, okay? Once again, it doesn't describe, it's not a specific number, per se. It describes you in terms of like what's your designation in terms of a number here on campus. All right, but it's not a number that really is a numerical measure of you whatsoever. It's just a number that does a designation sort of deal. All right. Any case, nice job, everybody. Nice job. All right. Now let's move on to discrete and continuous. Let's take a look at some more examples here. This time, though, we want to answer with discrete or continuous, okay? So discrete or continuous here. All right, so let's look at the next number here. So how about number 24? How about number 24? Is it discrete or continuous? The volume of water lost each day through a leaky faucet. The volume of water lost each day through a leaky faucet. That discrete or continuous? All right. He's on the ball today. Good stuff. I'm actually really happy about that, to be honest. Yeah, continuous. Nice, nice, nice. All right. I don't know why it's so dry. Let me go a second, folks. Grab some tissues. One super dry at my house. I was sitting next to my can of WD-40. All right. All right, continuous is correct. Okay, we don't know exactly how much water was lost every day. It's really uncountable to figure out how much water. We don't know how fast it's going down the drain. We don't know when it started. We have no clue. Okay, so that's going to be certainly one of those things. All right. Hey, Diego, how are you, buddy dude? Are you doing well? Long time no hear. Yeah, it's going well, my friend. It's going well. It's going really well. Learn some statistics here today, Diego. Feel free to sit on by. All right, let's look at number 26. All right, so let's look at number 26. Number 26 says the number of sequoia trees in a randomly selected acre of Yosemite National Park. Okay, so what do you think? Discrete or continuous? Oh, wonderful. Again, you're always welcome to stop on by, Diego. You know I got you, buddy. I miss you too, buddy. I miss the whole class. All right, so people put discrete here. So discrete is correct. Okay, so an acre here. Let's talk about that here for just a second. An acre is a limited amount of space. Okay, an acre is a limited amount of space, which means that we could only have a limited amount of sequoia trees within that space. Because we have a finite space, we only have a finite amount of trees that we can fit within that space, and then that's going to be essentially a discrete answer here. All right, let's take a look at another one here. Number 28. Internet connection speed in kilobytes per second. You want me to wager channel points? I mean, I can wager channel points. I mean, we could do that. Let's start a prediction then. That's fine. Let's start a prediction. All right. That's fine. I can do this. All right. So, let's see. Discrete. So, internet connection. We'll go with the discrete or continuous. This is so silly. But I'm willing to do it for the sake of the memes. All right, let's do a prediction here. You can bet channel points. Well, bet your channel points there. You can bet your channel points there. You can see that. Okay, the X amount of channel points you got. That's that little bubble with the number next to it. That's the channel points you got there. So you can win more channel points. All right, if you guess correctly. I like the fact we could still win channel points. All right, 10 seconds. 10 seconds to put your prediction in. 5 seconds. Those last little bits in. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here at our let's go ahead and wait for I got to wait for this here, but I'll go ahead and I'll choose the prediction outcome here. All right. So is this discrete or is this continuous? Well, the answer is going to be ba-ba-da-ba. The answer is continuous. Great job, everybody who guessed continuous here. Remember, your connection speed is always constantly moving at any moment in time. All right, remember, your connection speed is never stable. So, therefore, that means that it's always continuously moving, which means it's a continuous variable at the end of the day. Great job, everybody. For those of you who guessed continuous, you won yourself some free channel points. Hey! All right, great job. It's okay. You have a chance. I was I was prepared to lose all 600 channel points. Oh, so close. You put 400 on, I can respect that. I respect the I respect the process, okay? I respect the process. All right, let's move on here. Let's move on here to the next one. All right, so let's move on here to the next one. Which is going to be, we're going to now determine if it's going to be a nominal or ordinal variable. So a nominal or ordinal variable. Okay. So I'm going to put it on the prediction poll once again. We're going to use the same example here. All right, so predictions started there. There you go. All right, so there you are. Again, nation of origin. Nation of origin, is it nominal or ordinal? Go ahead and put your prediction up there. You guys got 40 seconds. All right, so that's going to be number 31 you see there on the screen here. So, go ahead, you guys can predict here. You guys have 30 seconds. 30 seconds here. Predict here. Nation of origin, nominal or ordinal? Nominal or ordinal? What do you guys think here? You can win some more channel points. 15 seconds. See a lot of people going over to nominal here. 5 seconds here. All right. All right, and done. All right, so a lot of people put nominal here, all right, as opposed to being ordinal. All right, and the answer here is indeed nominal. Great job, everybody. All right, nice work. Run me my ship. Truth. All right, so the correct answer here is definitely nominal. All right, it's not really a way you can kind of put that in order. I mean, technically you kind of can, but really, if you need to use it for other things, then really putting in order kind of seems moot at the end of the day about your ancestry. All right, so let's do one more here. This time, no prediction for this one here, but let's go ahead and just put it out here. Number 32. All right, so that's movie ratings of 1 star through 5 stars. All right, so like an IMDb page, for example. Maybe 0 stars to 5 stars on an IMDb page. Ooh, Jesse Waller Lassen. Oh my goodness. Welcome. Grace this stream. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesse. How are you doing today, buddy? How you doing this afternoon where you're at? But ordinal. Ordinal is correct. Everyone, you finally made it back. Yes, yes. Everyone say hello to Jesse Waller-Lassen. Jesse Waller-Lassen is a professional footballer slash soccer player out in England. He currently plays for Hashtag United and is wanting to learn some more financial advice. We'll actually have a special stream, hopefully, with Jesse later this week. Man, thanks for coming out to the stream. Appreciate you, buddy. You're amazing. Love you, dude. I'm glad. Glad. Yeah, Jesse's a very top class individual. Yeah, Jesse's a very top class individual. He's a incredibly nice guy. His girlfriend makes hecka great desserts. I look at those pictures on Instagram. Those are some damn good desserts there. So it's definitely true. Jesse's all about the positive vibes. So that's why I could definitely get behind Jesse. I'm afraid Jesse's skill level possibly could be pretty good. Jesse's a coach as well, so Jesse knows what he's doing out on the pitch. All right, you can't go wrong. Jesse knows what he's talking about. So if you're talking soccer slash football with him, he knows what he's doing. Jesse's also actually played at Wembley, so I must say, Jesse's been around a lot of good people, and he is good people. So please give him all the love and support. Great dude. Know this pandemic kind of sucks, but hey, you got a good community around you, Jesse. I can guarantee that. Market's been crazy today, by the way, Jesse. I'm just not gonna lie. The market has been absolutely bananas. So that's what I was doing all morning, looking at the market. Um, anyway, a lot of people said ordinal. Ordinal is correct. Hey, feel free to stick around, Jesse. We're talking about some basic stats, doing some definitions and stuff. No problem. So ordinal is definitely correct, okay? You can definitely arrange movies from good to bad, okay? Maybe you're looking at Battlefield Earth. You're like saying Battlefield Earth, that's one of the worst movies ever made in existence. And you're like, yeah, it's pretty god awful, okay? But you're like, okay, you give it like 0 stars. You're like, all right, that's fair. Maybe you look like at Avengers Endgame. You're like, yeah, I give that about 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, it was pretty great. All right. Right? So there you go. Pretty nice. So maybe you really like Avengers. You gave it 5 stars. Okay, I don't know. Watching movies is kind of tough when you can't go to a theater. So it's all Netflix these days, or Hulu, or whatever streaming service you use. Or if you're like me, maybe use other services. That's how I was watching the. That's how I was watching some from football yesterday and some soccer yesterday. You think the worst movies are the ones made by movie? I mean, that's kind of. What's a movie that deserves 5 stars in my opinion? Well, that's pretty easy. Okay. There is none that says Spaceballs. Okay, Spaceballs is a wonderful movie. Okay. If you want a great movie, you watch Spaceballs. Shawshank Redemption is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Spaceballs is awesome. I've watched that movie like 20 times. Okay, I love that movie. It's so good. I ain't gonna lie. Black Panther was really good too. I really liked Black Panther. You're right. Black Panther was a wonderful movie. Rest in power, Chadwick Boseman. But Black Panther was a amazing movie. Hey man, gone too soon. But you know what? Legacy lives on. Definitely true. All right. Ready to do this, ladies and gentlemen? Let's do this. Yeah. I'm going to move on to the next question here. Okay, let's do it. All right, next question here. The best the best math course you've ever taken. Well, I hope it gets better from here. My expectations were a little low. Okay, I'm trying to raise the bar ever so slightly. All right. However, that kind of goes along with my weight gain, so I'm just kind of like, kind of fluctuates back and forth. Some weeks I just lose my water weight of 5 pounds, and then the bar just kind of gets set that lower. And some weeks I'm like, yeah, I needed a little bit of extra original chicken sandwich from Burger King. So I'm like, yeah, there you go. Bam, I got it. Just gotta bigger mood, bigger mood, right? uh, hey, look, you could take like a branding stamp and you could just slap it on my butt, and literally that's probably true. Okay. You like, it kind of rotates too. It's like 2 a.m. You like a Taco Bell run. Boom. Okay, got to do it. Sometimes chicken run. You like KFC Popeyes. Okay. Then sometimes you're like, no, I need some cheese fries in my life. I need some Italian beef in my life. I need some chili cheese dogs. I'm like, Portillo's run. Let's go. Okay, gotta have it. Right? Gotta have it. Some days you feel like Chipotle. Varieties of spice of life. All right. Move on, though, I promise. All right. What is a randomized experiment in an observational study? Okay. So let's talk about those here. A lot of times in statistical studies, we talk about randomized experiments or an observational study. These are two types of studies that are commonly done here. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about that. All right. So first of all, let's talk about randomized experiment. Ah, yeah. All right. So, what is an randomized experiment? Basically, this is a study in which you have two sides. You have two sides. You have the researchers, and let's say you have the researchers, and let's say the volunteers, or you want to say the individuals who are part of the group, right, or the study group. Okay. So, what's a great example of a randomized experiment? An example here would be, say, the vaccine trials. All right. So, if we talk about clinical trials, especially, say, currently with the pandemic, you have a vaccine trial here, then you have to be able to experiment to see the effectiveness of the vaccine itself. So, of course, you need to have researchers and you need to have volunteers in order to test to see whether or not the vaccine is effective or not. All right. Otherwise, you can't make the claim to be like, oh, it's 95% effective. Be like, yeah, random 95% effectiveness. I'm like, where the heck did that come from? Like, can't just magically make claims. That's not how it works. So you got to have two sides here. All right. Now, one of the things actually, I'll mention this actually here, and then it'll make sense for observational studies. When you're talking about the vaccine trials or like a clinical study, basically what you want to do is that you directly, the researchers here specifically, directly interfere interfere in the study. Meaning to say, they're the ones that say inject the possible vaccine that could work, okay? Whatever the case may be. An observational study, on the other hand, the reason why I put this down here is that the researcher here, you still have the same two sides, okay? You still have the researchers in the study group, but the researcher does not interfere whatsoever and just observes. Okay? So the researcher doesn't interfere, he just observes. He's just there. Okay? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make you a congratulations, Jesse, you're a mod. All right, so I trust you, Jesse. You're You're a good dude, Chris. All right, good beans. All right, hey mate, you're good people, okay? People, I know who I can trust. You feel? Do you feel the power, or is that sugar coming from Sydney Sweets? Um, um, All right, so the researcher doesn't interfere and just observes. So it could ask questions here. It says, okay, maybe they're trying to link like maybe drinking coffee and smoking. Now, I don't know if there's any link between drinking coffee and smoking. It's just an example. So let me ask you some questions here. Okay, what's your dietary habits? How much coffee do you drink every day? All right, what's your weight? What do you do for exercise? And they ask you a whole bunch of list of questions here. And maybe over time they may check up on you every 6 months and they say, okay, well, what's it now? And they observe your pattern of behaviors and whatnot, and they see, okay, is there a higher risk or is it a low risk with like drinking coffee and cancer? Again, it's just strictly based on observation alone, and and just nothing else. All right, so there's no interference whatsoever. It's just purely just looking and seeing if there is indeed a connection. Um, okay, so there is that. Now, in relation to that here, and something that's of course relevant to today, uh, what type of studies are common here? Well, there's various types of studies here. I'm not going to really expand upon this too much here, but there are things called cohort studies. There's confounding studies. There's retrospective studies. Retrospective, pretty simple. You just look back at the past, compare it to now, do another study, see if things have, see if there's a pattern. It's gone up, it's gone down. There's types of studies here which are single blind, and double blind. Single blind studies are basically where the researchers know who got what. So, like, if it's a clinical trial that says I'm giving you a drug to test out, the researchers say know exactly who got what drug. So one side, typically the researchers, know who got what drug and they observe the results based on that. A double blind is basically neither the researchers nor the volunteers know exactly who got what. Lewis, I'm doing very well, my friend. Now, the best reason why you want a double blind study, even though it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, is that with a double blind study, especially for like the vaccine trials that we had going through here, the vaccine, on the other hand, had a double blind study. The reason why is because that took away the bias in the study. Okay, if we don't know exactly who knows what, then you have to objectively look at every single person carefully and then determine what your findings are going to be. This takes away the bias here about looking at each particular person. When you already know who got what, then it's like you have an inherent bias. But when you don't know, it takes away that bias, and then you can look at things more objectively, which is exactly what you're looking for when you're coming out with proper results. Okay. Ah, yes. Perfect. That's correct, Lewis. Absolutely. No bias is exactly what you're aiming for here at the end of the day. All right. If there's too much bias, then unfortunately, the results could easily be skewed, and then there's no credibility given to anything that you've actually come out with. So you want to remove that altogether. Then a double blind is actually a little bit better. Okay. All right. Let's move forward here just a bit. All right. Now, last year was let's be honest here. Last year was that was a thing. Man. Last year was a thing, but even if last year was a thing, and it was probably one of the worst years ever recorded in history, um, we still did a test census last year, and so it still has relevance, right? In the U.S., every 10 years we take a census, all right? So that way we can see what the current population is. Districts are redrawn, the whole 9 yards, all right? A lot of policy changes are based on population growth, or population decay. All right, so what exactly is a census? All right, so a census, based on the formal definition of a census here, is the list, put this in, list of all individuals in a population along with certain characteristics, okay, of each individual. Could we go over the filling in spaces at the end so we could take a picture? Yeah, absolutely. That is not a problem. That's not a problem, Kristen. Or, if you would like, I can send you a copy of the notes as well. So I can send you just a email copy there, whichever way you find comfortable. Just make it easy. I'll have to do that. If I send you an email though, it'd have to be after my second class though, so it'll be like in the afternoon. But if you want to just take pictures like right after class is done, I'm cool with that too. Um, all right. So basically, you get a census here. You probably get it in the mail, and the mail says, "All right, you ask a bunch of questions here." They say, "Oh, I actually have it here. But here's my I actually have a census form here. Wow. Okay. Well, I like relevancy. Relevancy works. Let me open up my mail. Hey, no. So probably you've gotten this census form before, and if I can open this any moment now. Okay. Okay. So let's say this is a piece of paper. I guess this doesn't have questions on it. That's a shame. In any case, thought it might have a question on it. But in any case, you take the census, you put in how many people are in your household. You don't have to say your name, but you put in how many people in your household. You put in your finances, for example. You put in, say, your ethnicity. You put in your gender, put in all sorts of different pieces of information, okay, and then you determine, hey, and then basically at the end of the day those are compiled, okay. Again, it's a rare time where the population itself is actually pulled for a breakdown, and of course we get a lot of important key pieces of information, again, especially for policy changes and whatnot. It's definitely important. Alex Schward, how are you doing, my dude? I hope you're doing well. How are you doing well this evening for you, Alex, out there? Hope you're doing good, buddy. um All right. All right. Now let's look at question 12 here, which is the last question on this particular handout. And then this will lead us here into doing other things in the other handouts. But they, for whatever reason, in section 1.3, they talk about this here and then, just kind of move forward. But let's talk about this anyway. All right. First and foremost here, what is a simple random sample? Okay, let's talk about what a simple random sample is. A simple random sample is a sample that is chosen. So if you're going to do a study, right, you have to choose a sample, right? So I can't poll everybody at ECC. It's not possible, okay? I can't do it. There's thousands and thousands of students. But instead, I maybe want to pick maybe 100 people for my survey or whatever, and then hopefully make some conclusions based off of that. All right. So how do I do that here in this case? That'll be the sample that is chosen, okay, for basic sample that is chosen in which each person within the population has an equal chance. I guess I should say randomly chosen because it's a random sample in which each person has an equal chance of being selected. Yes, Jesse did sub. He is now a mod of this channel because that's just how Jesse does. Jesse does whatever he wants. Okay, that's just how it is. uh, There you go. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's correct. I like this. All right. Sample that is randomly chosen, which each person within a population has equal chance of being selected. So if we think about it this way, okay, if I'm doing a study, okay, if I'm doing a study, then I'm gonna be like, okay, the person in the class, let's say we're sitting in a classroom, the person in a classroom has an equal chance of being selected as much as the next person who's sitting clear across campus. All right, I'm just randomly choosing you for no rhyme or reason. I don't have a reason to select you. I just have be like, hey, here you go. Boom. I'm just going to select you for my survey and then I call it good. All right, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. All right, I'm not going to do anything else outside of that. So everybody has an equal chance of being selected, and everybody has an equal chance of being in my survey. All right. And that's okay. All right. If you want to conduct a sample that way, you can go ahead and do so. All right. Everybody's got the option at the end of the day. All right. Now, let's take a good look here. Yet. May actually move that down a little bit. See if that happens. See the screen kind of flicker. So that's getting to be a big of an issue. Then I'll just change it up. I don't care. All right, let me check here. Second. Open up. Being an old fart, it does old fart things. All right. Hey. Hey, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. There you go. All right. All right, we'll get some of these definitions out of the way. We won't get through all of these, but I feel that this will be important nonetheless. So we're going to talk about them regardless. All righty. Let's do it. Okay. Yep. All right. All right. So these are the next three sections that we're going to talk about here. So we're not going to get through everything here, but it's going to talk about specific types of sampling here. Now, the one thing about sampling that is important here is that while we can talk about a simple random sample, it's not as easy as it looks. That's okay. That's okay. We're talking about statistical studies, at least the basics of it, Louis. No problem, my dude. Okay. But we want to talk about sampling here in terms of, say, you know what? It's kind of hard to select 100 people. If I choose one person, say, in the classroom, and then I choose the next person all the way, across campus, that's really hard, okay? I need a little bit more convenience to pick my sample. Okay, I need to be realistic. Okay, I don't want to spend a ton of time picking a sample here. All right, I need to get 100 people, but I need to be, I don't know, I need a method to the madness. Okay, to pick those 100 people. I still want to have a randomness to it, but I don't want to be running around with a chicken with its head cut off sort of deal. All right. So to be fair, I'm going to need to figure out a different way about which to do this. So there are different types of sampling strategies here that we can certainly talk about as well. First of all, let's talk about the first question which here we see on this handout, which is 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6. And that says, what is a stratified sample? Okay, so a stratified sample, simply put, is a sample that you select, basically a stratified sample that you select by separating uh, the population. So when you say based on strata or categories, okay, in groups, and then selecting a sample from those groups. Okay, so you kind of split it up into different categories. So for example, here the classic one is like saying, all right, just split it up into genders, okay? And then you select people from each gender. And then it's like, okay, there you go. You got yourself a winner. All right, doesn't matter. You select X amount of people from this gender, select X amount of people from this gender, select X amount of people from another gender, whatever. There you go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right. So Again, but the thing is you have to do a little bit of work beforehand, okay? It could be age group as well. You select a certain amount of people from 18 to 40, 18 to 49, 50 plus, whatever the case may be, okay? You're going to select your particular sample size. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. All right. The next one here can be a little bit confusing, all right? And so I'm going to describe this one here. This one here is more mathematically based on compared to the other one. So what is systematic sampling? All right. So systematic sampling is you're going to come up with a pattern here to select the people at random to be part of your survey. So basically, you will select every nth person starting from anywhere until you get the sample size you require. Let me go ahead and describe that in a little bit more detail because, of course, that sounds confusing. The nth person, what do you mean by that? All right. That means that if you say, for example, here, I want 100 people to be part of my survey. Okay. So maybe I'm going to choose, you know, maybe an example here is I'm going to choose every fifth person in a line. Let's say I have a line of people and it says I'm going to choose every fifth person to be part of my survey. All right. Starting with anyone. So you can start anywhere you want. It doesn't have to be the first person in line. It could be the fourth person in line, and then you go 5 people after that, and every fifth person you select. So starting with the let's just go with the fourth person in line. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the fourth person, but it could be anywhere you want. All right. So you go fourth person in line, then the ninth person in line, then the 14th person in line, then the 19th person in line, then the 24th person in line, and so on and so forth until you have a sample size, until you get 100 people for your sample. Okay, so that happens to be a pretty common one here. So that way the choices are still random. Okay, you're still randomly choosing people. You just have a system behind it about how you choose that. Next, we have cluster sampling. So what is cluster sampling? Well, it's exactly as it sounds. Sample selected, sample selected within a cluster of objects or people. Hey, that's cool, Lewis. You take your time, man. I just want you to sit back and enjoy and learn something. It's all good, buddy. Need to play some FIFA? You go play some FIFA. Go have some fun. Um, so basically, you have a cluster of people. So for example, here you could have like people. You could have like a chunk of people. Let's say people in a classroom, okay, and let's say there's rows of desks, okay. Well, a cluster sample could be I select everybody in the back row of desks. All right, so that could be a cluster sample there. Selecting everyone in the back row of desks in a classroom to be part of my sample. I'm just going to select that chunk of people. So I'm going to be like, okay, here we go. Womp. Then take those chunk of people. Got it. That's a cluster sample. Just a cluster of people. I have no rhyme or reason why I'm picking those clump of people. As far as I know, that they should be nice and random and different and unique. And that's exactly what I'm going for. I'm just choosing it just for the sake of randomness. You have a wonderful week, Lewis. You take care. You come on back anytime, buddy. All right. Before we move on here, if we need to move on here, are there any questions so far? I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Never have to feel sorry about them. Are there any questions? Any questions at all? Hopefully, this trying to make it as clear as possible so you know where each part is going to kind of come from there. Like I said, a lot of base definitions here. Once we get the ball rolling, there's a lot of base definitions here for these first chapter here. like I said, chapter 2 is where we're really going to get in the meat and potatoes here of doing the actual maths stuff. But I got the power of Jesse Wallace, so I know it's going to be a success regardless. So that's all you need in your life is JWL. Um, always. I know, right? Jesse just looks at himself in the mirror and be like, "That's godly." I look at myself in the mirror. I look at myself in the mirror. It's like, hmm, what am I going to eat today, and where am I going to eat it? If my whole life is going to revolve around food, at least let me make it delicious. All right. Let me also make some money on the side. That's important too. Okay. That's kind of a thing. Um. All right. Let's define one more thing, and then we may end off with this question here, because then the other ones I can talk about for next time anyway. Um. All right. So we'll end here on question number 4, and then end off there for this class anyway. Um. What is sample of convenience? Okay. Let's talk about sample of convenience here. All right, so sample of convenience is basically a sample that you choose out of convenience. Now you're probably saying, hold up a second. That seems really super intuitive. And because it is. But what's a good example here? You're like, wow, that was an extremely boring description because you could have just read it. I'd be like, yes. But what would be an example of a sample of convenience? This would be like giving out a store survey in in the front of the store. Okay. So let's say I have a supermarket. Let's say I have say it says, "Hey, how are we doing?" Okay? And they gave you a little survey while they're out in front. Now, one thing I'm not going to do is if I'm trying to give out surveys in front of a supermarket trying to find out what my customers think about me, I'm not going to go run into the supermarket, run all the way back to the milk aisle, and I'm not going to go ahead and give you a survey. I'm too lazy for that. All right. Sample convenience is like picking the best way to give out a survey, again, with a random sample, the laziest way possible. All right. I don't want to go and run into the store. I just want to sit there and give you surveys and have you hand them back to me. All right. That's kind of important. Okay. So, not everybody's going to be willing, you cannot, you may sit there a while longer, while you're trying to get a particular sample size, but it's worth it at the end of the day if it means that you don't have to do as much work. So, that's kind of like what a sample of convenience is going to be. You still get the randomness, it just may take you longer of which to do so. There you go. Somebody passes you by, here's a survey. Just like if you go to Japan, they'll just hand you tissues. Same deal. All right. All right. Any questions about that? Hopefully that's not too bad. All right. Now, this is where we're going to end off here for today. All right. We're going to end off here on section 1, this handout here, 141516. All right. We're going to come back on Wednesday and continue moving forward here, starting at question number 5 on the handout. Okay, so if you have this already put down, you should be good to go. All right. It is very, very good. All right. I can promise you that 1000%. All right. Um, but I have another class. Of course, we have another 102 class right after this. So if you want to stick around and you want to continue watching another replay, feel free to do so. I'll be doing another lecture here for my 12:30 class. But any homework we can work on before Wednesday? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to keep track here, yeah, that's a very fair question, Cool Dad. So So homework here, technically, if you want to keep, now this is strictly if you want to keep yourself up to date with the lectures. Okay, so I'm just gonna point that out here. So the homework here would be like 1.1 to 1.5. Okay, so you could work on some of those on my math lab, and you can work on those. Kristen, you have yourself a great day. We'll see you on Wednesday. If you can't stick around, that's perfectly fine. Moving, end off just a second here for this class. All right, yeah, but if you want to do 1.1 to 1.5, that's going to be the homework there for the sections that I've covered here so far. I haven't done everything from section 1.5 and 1.6 just yet, but again, with only being definitions, it really shouldn't take you too long to do. So if you want to work there, you can go ahead and do so. You can work ahead at your own leisure. That's totally up to you and how you want to go ahead and approach that. Again, I want to give you your own pace of time so that way you don't feel overwhelmed. That's the whole point. Hey, we got ourselves a winner. Bam. All right. Are the completed notes going to be posted anywhere on D2L? I just kind of make it up as I go along. I'll be perfectly honest with you, Toaster. Seriously, the only things that I have here are basically these questions that you see on D2L. You can rewatch the stream to see what the notes are, and then type it out. That's perfectly cool there. Non-math related question: what's the Stream Manager program? Is it Twitch Streamlabs? Yeah, so I'm using Streamlabs as my software for my streaming software. So I use Streamlabs. I have the Logitech camera here. There you go. I wing every lesson all the time. I don't go a day without really. I wing pretty much every lesson. The reason there is a reason why I wing every lesson. By the way, there is a particular reason why I wing every lesson. So while I have these notes prepared, all right, I do have these notes prepared way ahead of time. So I have all that basis ahead of time. Thank you, Jorge. You have a wonderful day. Uh, the reason why I have this prepared ahead of time, just to let you know, but don't have the actual notes filled in, is because I want to be able to adjust it to you. So if I adapt to you, then it makes it more understandable to you. If I taught it the way that I understood it, sometimes it may seem more confusing. I may write down something that could be considered confusing even when I write it down, and then I have to think about you guys and adjust based on that. Sometimes it'll work for some classes, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have to re-explain things again. Remember, like I said, this class is not about me. This class is about you. And the way I do that is that I literally wing every lesson because of that. Even things that I say in the second class is not necessarily exactly the way that I said in the first class. And the reason why is because the second class is different than the first class. So what I could say about what I'm doing here is completely different, could be different than what I say from what I just talked about here today. It's just a different approach because they're different people. I mean, different people just requires a different approach. That's it. That's pretty much how it works. I have to understand the perspective of the other people in the class. That's more important. So I need to effectively communicate. Effective communication. Hey, it doesn't work the same for everyone. So, Thanks, I appreciate that. I've been doing that for literally 10 years, so, I just felt that it was a little rough. Thank you very much, Megan. You have yourself a wonderful day. We will see you again next time. Next time. Thank you for the class. Thank you, Cheska. You have yourself a wonderful day. We'll see you on Wednesday. Let's play some music. Take some music order here. Absolutely. Kristen, you have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. You take care of yourself. All right. Have some fun. Go out and relax. Enjoy yourself. Okay, Kristen. Cool, Dad. You have a great one. Okay. You have a great one. We'll see you. We'll see you on Wednesday. All right. Let's get some vibes going. Right. So I think that's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You go.
All right, good beans. Boehner, thank you very much. Karen, thank you very much. Boehner, you said hydrate. You have yourself a good one. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed. All right. All right, everybody. You have yourself a wonderful day. We will be right back after these messages. All right. Hello, 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 everybody. How's everybody doing today here for the second go round of Math 102? Hello, hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing well. We're kick this off here. We go. Hello, hello, Alyssa. How we doing? Hazelnut. How we doing, friend? Hello, hello, hello. Air Brazier. We're doing well. How we doing today? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? I hope we're doing really good. I hope we're doing really good. Hopefully you're doing really good too. Ashley, how you doing today? You got your textbooks? Very good. You got your my math lab set up there? Hopefully that's ready to set and ready to go. Okay, that's important. Hey, Madison, how are you doing? How was your weekend? I hope your weekend was good. My weekend was fantastic. Lewis, you have yourself a good one. Have fun with some FIFA, my dude. Have fun just maxing and relaxing, just having a grand old time. There you go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner is you, my friend. Lewis, you good dude. Hey, man, come on back anytime. You're always welcome. You're here to learn, you're here just to chill. Hey, you're always a welcome part of my community. 100%, man. Anytime. Anytime. Always a welcome part of this community. How's everybody here today? How's everybody doing? How was everybody's weekend? I hope everybody's weekend was good. Hey, thanks, mate. Good. Hey, if we're gonna be in it, hey, Lewis, if we're gonna be in this together in this pandemic, if we gotta sit at home, resting our butts on a chair, at least let's have some fun resting our butts on a chair. All right. JD, hello, hello. How you doing? Jose, how you doing, buddy? All right. How's everybody? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? I hope your weekend was good. My weekend was pretty good. Banana Rama. Let's call you Banana Rama from now on, maybe. Banana, good to see you. Good to see you. How are you doing today? I hope you are well. I hope everybody's well here today. Hello, hello, hello. That's pretty good. Good, Jose. I'm glad to hear that. What you say? Hello. How are you today? What you say? Nicole, how are you? How was your weekend? Good, good. Hi, how's it going? Look at how many great people are coming out here today for another stream. We vibing, yeah, we vibing. We vibing today. Hello, Sir Chips a lot. Dave, I love it. How art thou? How would I put this in Shakespearean? Let's see. I am thee well. Thine as well. Yes. Good. Yeah, my weekend was great. My weekend was great. Just sitting and chilling and having a good time. Yeah. I'm hoping that you got the same. So we had a great first week, right? Great first class. Hopefully we can continue moving forward with that. I think we're in for a rip roaring time. There you go. Hopefully we're set and ready to go. At least I hope so. Now, hey Jesse, you still here? Excellent. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. All right. So, funny story, Jesse. You know who came into the chat last week? Last week, Charlie Morley came into my chat. Charlie Morley popped in, and he was just popped in to say hello. And everybody was pretty chill last week with Charlie Morley. And so I want to tell everybody here before we get started here I want you everybody to say hello to Jesse Waller Lassen. Naomi, hello, good morning. I want everybody to say hello to Jesse Waller Lassen, who also is a professional soccer slash football player. He is also a coach. He currently trudges through snow and sleet and rain to go coach because that's just the man Jesse is. He has a wonderful girlfriend who bakes sweets. They're on Instagram. They look delicious. Yeah, see, look, we get great people to come on in the chat. See, we get more we get more professional footballers to come through this chat all the time. I think that's wonderful. I think, but we hopefully we'll have a special stream with Jesse later on in the week, guys. So he wants to learn something about finance and options and stuff like that. So hopefully I can help him out with that. He is a wonderful dude. Really good attitude. Really wonderful guy all around. Yeah, we everybody wishes best of luck. Everybody here to support you. There's, like I said, there's even more people, not just the first class, Jesse. You got the second class here to support you as well. You got a whole host of people here who want to support you and help you the best way they can to offer their good wishes. Um, yeah, definitely a man to get to know. Absolutely, 100%. I'm lucky to be in the same orbit as Jesse. We just came together through a confluence of events and absolute madness on my part. So that's just how it happened, you know. More so along the lines of the madness part. Yeah, it just kind of is a thing. Uh, Jesse currently plays for hashtag United, um, non-league club out in England. Right now the season is on pause. So hopefully that gets to restart. So hopefully it'll get restarted soon, after all this vaccine stuff. So remember, we're all in this lockdown here together. So let's all get some positive vibes out here in the chat. Let's win this together. Let's get it. Let's get through this stuff here together. All right. Uh all right, everybody. I want to thank you all once again here, though. In any case, I want to thank you all once again here for coming on out to another Math 102 stream. All right, we're gonna go with this intro. Let's do the intro once again. Second intro. Let's do it. Okay, let's get started today. Welcome back. It's a Monday. Hopefully, a nice weekend. All right. We're back here once again today, and today we're going to pick up where we left off last time. Last time we talked about the syllabus. We talked about my math lab. We talked about setting that stuff up. So hopefully you've all set up stuff for my math lab. Hopefully you've all went ahead and done your thing with signing up and hopefully getting to know how the homework works. Again, if you have questions of any type, just go ahead and email that to me. I'll be checking my email here after the class here today. If you need to talk to me for office hours and whatnot, please just let me know. It says, hey, you know what? I have a question. Okay, hey, I'll be more than happy to answer that question. Remember, office hours here between 2 and 6. And I can put myself up back on stream and we can talk about stuff. So, all right, so that's not a problem. All right, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a lot of Chapter 1. My first class, we got through a lot of Chapter 1. I want to get to that same point here. I'm going to try and keep, for transparency's sake, I'm going to try and keep both classes to be about the same pace here. Try and keep it at the same pace so that way, if you opt to, come to the earlier class, then you'll be at the same place as if you opt to come to this one. So, in any case, we're going to go ahead and get started here with the beginnings of Chapter 1. And so I'm going to bring that up screen. So this is going to be sections 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. So let's go ahead and bring that up right now. All right, here we are. Okay. And I may change this a little bit, so it just depends. I may change this up a little bit, but some of this stuff here today is pretty much all about definitions, okay? Definitions, and even more definitions, okay? So a lot of the stuff that we'll be talking about here is going to set us up for a lot of different concepts we'll see later on. I'll be referring back to these in some shape or form, possibly. when we talk about certain topics. So we're going to be talking about this stuff here as time goes along. All right. In any case, let's take a good look here at each question, okay? And we'll go ahead and once you have that ready, we're going to go ahead and fill in the blanks like you see up here. Okay, wonderful. Let's look at question number 1. Question 1 says, what are some basic terms that can be used when talking about sampling? So I put some basic terms here that I got from the time before here, but these are going to be the same things that I would write out anyway. So first of all, let's talk about population. Population talks about the entire group that will be studied. So essentially, I put this example here is all students at ECC. Will I have the sheet on D2L as well? Yes. So there is the so actually I do have the questions there. I just don't have them filled out. So sometimes we may need to go through this a little bit more carefully, and I may end up doing different examples compared to what I would do in the first class. So one of the things that I would do is since I could just kind of switch up examples here, it would be the same concept. It would just be like it'd be the same exact concept, just a different example compared to the first class. So, but all these handouts here are on D2L for you to reference. So you can, but just not filled out. That's all. If you want to fill this out, or if you want to fill this out later, that's your prerogative there. You can always, of course, Ashley, you could always watch the replay right after this stream is over, and then you could go ahead and copy the notes directly off of the replay. Don't forget that is exactly why it's there for you, just in case if you missed something in and along the way. So it's kind of like a backup thing. So you could go ahead and do that there. But uh, pretty much every lecture that I do here is basically I wing it every lecture. So yeah, it's a thing. So there you go. We talk about that at the end of the last class there. All right. In any case, let's take a good look here once again. So we talk about the population, the entire group that we studied. So for example, your population is exactly what you think it is. All right, so you could talk about, say, the population of a country. Population of a country would be like everybody who is a citizen of that particular country. Okay, when we talk about it in terms of a statistical study, that could be like how many, what's the whole group of people I want to test necessarily for that study or I want to extrapolate to. Well, that would be, say, for example, all the students at ECC. All the students at ECC be like, okay, I want to see, on average, how can I extrapolate to all the students on ECC? Well, that's my population I want to study over. Or maybe everybody who's in a county, or everybody who's in a state. Whatever the case may be, that's a population at the end of the day that we want to study over. Now, of course, for us to get actual data, we can't test every single person on campus. That's just not possible. If we tried, well, it's going to be a pretty expensive and very long endeavor. And that's the last thing that we want. So instead, what we do is we take the sample. Now, again, as it says here, some basic terms when we talk about sampling. As it says, we need the word sample here. Sample is a subset of the population. All right. So the last example I picked was, say, an age group of the students at ECC. Yusuf, going well, my friend. Now that you're here, it's even better, my dude. 100%. Love you, buddy. Good people. All right. Um, uh, so a subset of the population here. So you could put an age group of the students at ECC, or heck, you could even put a subset of the population could be some uh, maybe one class at ECC. So you could say, okay, there are 28 people in this classroom. That's one subset, one class, or one subset of people within all the classes at ECC. Okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be limited to one class, by the way. It could be two classes, three classes, whatever. But that could be a sample there. Okay. And we want to test using a sample in that case. All right. Oh, itchy. All right. Next we're going to talk about here is a data set or data items. Now, you're going to hear me say this quite often here when we talk about doing statistical studies. So first thing first here is let's talk about a data set. A data set is a group of data, numbers or items listed for individuals. So essentially here, I could think about a test score here. So a set of test scores, all right? Those set of test scores that people got on the test. So let's say one student got an 85, one student got a 93, and you had a list of all the test scores there. Um, that would be a data set. So we're going to be looking at data sets, and we're going to be wanting to basically study off of those data sets exactly what kind of conclusions that we can get off of that at the end of the day. Oops, my bad. So go ahead and add a little bit more to this, i.e., a list of test scores. All right, that would be a data set in question. We'll actually look at that in chapter 2 once we get to that point. As I said, data item is that individual score. So our individual score item. So again, that one student who got an 85 on the test is going to be that person in question. All right. Now, next is also the individual. That is the person or object that is a member of the population being studied. So that individual could be part of the sample, or that individual could be part of the population, just not part of the sample. It just depends at the end of the day. We may refer to individuals from time to time. I won't be using that term too often, but again, that's essentially inherent as part of a data item or data set, is that it's associated with the said individual. Okay, so that again, instead of the 85, I may refer to as student A got the 85. So the student A would be the individual in that case. All right. Okay. Now, let's take a good look here at the next problem. Next question. What am I doing with? All right. So next problem. Yes, numbers there. Ooh. All right. Now, this class is called statistics. So let's talk about the second question here. What is a statistic? There's times I question my own existence as I go through a lecture. And then it's all clear to me at the end of the day. I'm just an idiot. All right. Now that we've got that now that we've got that squared away. Uh, what is a statistic? A statistic is a numerical summary of a sample. Now, this is important. The reason why we JD JD JD, I'm going to guarantee you one thing. Okay, one thing that you will understand in this class very vividly for here to the course of the semester. You, my friend, are by far and away much smarter than I ever will be. Okay, I can count the number of brains I have on a pinky. All right, I can guarantee you, you're gonna be so much better than me at the end of the day. It will not even be funny. So I'll make plenty of mistakes. Trust me on that. But hey, that's you're gonna. Okay, no problem, Jesse. You have yourself a wonderful day. All right, say hi to Sydney for me. I hope you guys enjoy yourself. You go and have some fun, buddy. Take care, all right? Take care. Oh, you want me to hydrate? All right. All right. Big brain. Big brain. You do have a big brain, JD. More than my tiny one with it. Oh, now you want me to hydrate too? Okay. All right. Had to take a small sip there. All right. All right. There we are. All right. Okay. So, let's take a good look here at a statistic. A statistic is a numerical summary of a sample. And this is why we call it statistics, because we could try and look at a population, but in reality, we can't look at everybody here within a population. It's just too hard and too long, too hard and too long, and too much time and effort to actually go ahead and look at a particular population. So instead, we want to look at a sample, and then we extrapolate those results there from the numerical summary. We extrapolate those results there, and we extrapolate it to a population from the sample, I should say. And so that's the key difference here, as you see that from a statistic to a parameter. You talk about a numerical summary of a sample, a numerical summary of a population. All right, that is a parameter. So we're going to see later on is how we can again go from the sample and then basically go all the way out to the population and hopefully make a conclusion based off of that. All right, so a lot of things I'm going to talk about here are just simply definitions. All right, let's take a good look here at number 4. Number 4, what are variables in data? Now, I'm just going to skip the idea of data because we already talked about data sets and data items. So we should be good to go there. But I do want to talk about variables here because we're going to take a look at a lot of different types of variables as time goes along here in the concepts of this course. So what are variables here? Variables are going to be characteristics of an individual within the population. All right. So uh, it can be literally any characteristic or attribute or whatever the case may be. So what could be a variable here? This can take on any form that you want. So i.e. a variable could be, again, age group. All right. So maybe you're part of the 18 to 34 age group. That could be a variable. All right. Or again, maybe you have a condition, okay? That's a condition, that's a variable to take into account. You have a such and such condition, right? So, for example, here I have epilepsy. Okay, so how does being an epileptic, that's a variable for a doctor to keep in mind when they're trying to prescribe me medication of some variety. Okay, so something to that effect is pretty much how that's going to go, right? Right. So age group or condition or whatever the case may be, it is what it is. Now, what we want to look at here specifically is we're going to take a look at specific types of variables that we see quite often here in statistical studies. Let's take a good look at those here very carefully, and we'll see exactly what we're working with. All right. So let's look at number 5. The first two types of variables we're going to look at are qualitative and quantitative variables. All right. So let's look at the first one here. Qualitative. What's a qualitative variable? So the formal definition here that I put up is a variable that allows for classification of individuals based on an attribute or characteristic. So again, age range would be another one here. Okay, so it could be, again, age group or age range. We could also let's put another one down here as opposed to that. Okay, so another qualitative variable here would be, say, let's see, your middle name. Actually, I could put your social security number. Okay, so you could put social security number, and that would be a qualitative variable. Maybe social security numbers that start with particular numbers. Okay, maybe you can classify them. Oh, they all start with this number, this number, this number. They're 8 digits in this, whatever. Okay. In any case, that would be a qualitative variable. Even if it is a number per se, it still counts as a qualitative variable because essentially describing you. Um, it's describing you based on just that alone. Quantitative is a variable that provides a numerical measure of those individuals. So, as I put here, how many people within an age range, or how many people are, how many people within an age range, or how many people live in town? Okay, that could be quantitative. Okay, hey, how many people live in this neighborhood or your house or whatever? Okay, all of those are quantitative. It's a numerical measure, all right, of the individuals. Okay, I look at, say, an individual house. I say, well, how many people are living in that house? Okay, 4 people are living in that house. Okay, and that would be quantitative. Like, okay, fair enough. Seems pretty reasonable. All right. Now, what I'm going to do here, by the way, is I'm going to define a few more of these questions here, and then we're going to look at some examples. We're going to look at some examples of describing these variables here about determining which one is a variable and which. So, all right. So I'm going to go through the next couple questions here, and then we'll do some examples right after that. Okay. Let's take a look at question 6. Question 6 says, "What are discrete and continuous variables?" What are discrete and continuous variables? Okay. First of all here, what is a discrete variable? A discrete variable is a quantitative variable where there's a finite number of possible values or a countable number of possible values. So the easiest one that you could think of is, say, the amount of goldfish in a tank. Now, if you think about it this way, the tank here is a finite quantity. You can only put a finite amount of water in a fish tank. And so what that means is that there can only be a finite amount of goldfish that can fit within that fish tank. Okay? It can't be an infinite amount of goldfish because you only have a limited amount of space that can exist within that tank. Okay? And so that's the most important part there at the end of the day that we want to kind of focus on. Because if we look at the counterpart of that, the counterpart of that is a continuous variable, which is where we can have an infinite amount of possible values or an uncountable number of values there at the end of the day. Okay? I.e., again, the amount of water in the ocean at any random time. Okay? So we don't know exactly, you pick a random time and that the amount of water in the ocean constantly changes at any moment in time, right? It rains, the amount of ocean water goes up. Okay, it's really hot, and the amount of water in the ocean goes down. Okay, well, whatever the case may be, the amount of water in the ocean constantly changes at all points in time. So really picking randomly selected time is going to be pretty much uncountable at this point. Plus, how could you figure out how much volume it would be? You'd have it to get it down to the finest decimal, which is pretty much nigh impossible. So think about it that way. That would be a continuous variable as a result. Finally, we have two more types of variables. We have ordinal and nominal variables. So what are ordinal and nominal variables? Now, ordinal variables is that you could put a naming scheme which allows for variables to be arranged or ranked in a specific order. So again, as I put here, you could use your last name, i.e. you could put it in alphabetical order. So there's a particular ranking or specific order you could put it in from A to Z. So you could start with the A's, go with the B's, go down to the C's, okay, and then go all the way down to the Z's if you need to arrange your data that way. Okay. Nominal means you can't put a scheme together that puts it in a specific order. So it's not possible to put it in a specific order. It really wouldn't make much sense to put it in a specific order. It just, again, just doesn't have a meaning if you did do it that way. So technically, you could kind of think about it this way. You're like, well, you can put pretty much everything in a specific order. But if there's no point, then it's like, well, okay, why even bother? Okay, so there's a lot of different examples for nominal here that we could talk about. We'll take a look at some examples here in the book uh, when we go ahead and do some examples here. All right. One more thing here for question 8. I decided over the weekend not to do question 8. That's interval and ratio variables. So I'm going to skip that question there. So again, you can mark that down. I'm not going to ask any test questions in relation to that. Okay, that'll be not going to be happening here. So interval and ratio variables, there'll be nothing covered on tests in relation to that. I just thought that it's just kind of pointless for what we want to cover. So I don't feel that it's all that necessary to go over. We're going to skip that altogether, and we'll move on. All right. Before we move forward here, though, I know I went over a lot of different types of definitions here, but are there any questions you guys have? Any questions? Nope. Okay. JD says Mo. I'm not sure what Mo means. Mo. Mo. Ah, moo. Moo. Okay, got it. Got it. I apologize. I should have said bah when I asked any questions, JD. my friend, oh, my friend over here says nay. So cow, yes. Any questions? Cow. That's exactly correct. Hey, that's right, my friend the horse. And his friend next to him is saying oink. And all I turn to him and I turn to him and I say, you know what? You know what? I know you said oink, but I say Taco Bell. I'm gonna join you in that foray. All right, that's what I'm gonna say. Let me join your faction of pigs. All right, so let me get my Taco Bell on. I wish to join your faction and be a member of your food parliament. It's the best governmental structure. All all those who vote to go to Taco Bell or Burger King say aye. Wink. Oh my goodness. I. Who's paying? No, no, no. I'm not paying. I'm have you guys can pay for yourself. Now, if we're going to fancier places, maybe I'll pay a portion. We're all struggling young people here. Okay, maybe not me, but you guys can pay. I'll cover a. I'll tell you what though, JD. I'll tell you what, JD. Because you can listen to because you're very kind and listening to my boring lectures. I'll cover a 2 for 6 for you. Okay. I'll get you a chicken sandwich and a Whopper. Okay. That there you go. I'll do it. I can cover a 2 for 6. All right. We can go with that. All right. Cover the 2 for 6 for cool, man. Gonna ask me to hurry. I'm gonna have to go to the grocery store and get me some new jugs of water. I got some other drinks. I got some other drinks in my collective arsenal. So um I got this. I had just a little bit left here, but this is matcha milk tea. I got the matcha milk tea. Planet, my dude. Planet, how we doing? See, we got the matcha green tea and milk. All right, I bought that from Mitsuwa. All right, from Mitsuwa, the Japanese supermarket on Arlington Heights Road. All right, that's some good stuff. Some classically, amazingly good stuff right there. Yeah, that place is amazing. Look, let me be honest. They know me over there by heart. So I go to like the ramen place, right? I go to Santoka, right? And so they know my order by heart already. So I'm pretty chill with that place. So yeah, I can just walk up there to like, how I'm like, you don't need to ask, and they'll just write it down. I'm like $18.92. Bam, got it. Yes, like I'm in. That's fine. Hey, Planet, that's all good, man. That's all good. That's why we take a small little thing so you could have a chance. Oh, get some gyoza. Yes, yes. Get some gyoza. That's good. Oh, get me some gyoza. Get me some tempura in my life too. There you go. I mean, the yakitori place is really good. That's your guilty pleasures, gyoza. Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. You can't go wrong. With some good gyoza. Where I used to live in Japan, there was like a really good gyoza place right close to the train station. Heck yeah. let's take a good look. Willing to. Oh, okay, okay. So it's right by the Lou's Carryout place. Okay, taking a look at that right now. Oh, by Minami Sushi. Um. All right, so that's right here. So right on Barrington. There you go. First of all, JD, don't worry about the friends. You can everybody can make new friends and make new memories. I don't think that's a problem. So there we go. Um, yeah, it definitely looks good. We made it a tradition to stay at the hotel for your con, and then afterwards hit up Minami's or Oishi Sushi. There you are. All right, Hazelnut doing the Lord's work. Yes, I approve of all of this. All of this is a yes. Everything is approved. And there's a place downtown I like going to. I haven't been able to go there in months, but it's down on Devon Avenue in Chicago. It's like it's a Pakistani restaurant. I know I'm a little bit biased in that regard, but I go to called Sabri Nahari. They have absolutely banging food there. I've been there like many a times. If you want like really good, really good curry and stuff, you're talking absolute bangers of food. So see if the pictures show up. If not, then that's okay. Let's see if I can get a picture of Nahari here. Yeah. So here's some pictures of Nahari. Yeah, I'm gonna get you hungry. Just I'll get you hungry, boys. Well, Middle Eastern, Pakistani, Indian food. How can you go wrong with some amazing curry? I'm telling you, you can't. Just let me tell you, I'm just trying to open up that little extra space there, Hazelnut, and then that way you'll be able to try more the second go around. Okay, I'm just that evil, but that amazing. All right, good beans, everybody, good beans. Okay, okay, okay. All right, we gotta do the actual things now. Let's do actual things. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the book. All right, we're gonna take a look here at some problems. Okay, where's that? There, right? Oh, yeah, it's right there. Okay. All right. So first and foremost here, everybody, we're gonna take a look at some examples here, and we're gonna identify the types of variables that something can be. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a gander, and let's see what we end up with. All right. All right, so first of all, let's classify some variables here. Let's go to number 15. Now, let's try number 15 here. Nation of origin. Now, is nation of origin here, is that going to be a qualitative variable or a quantitative variable? And there you see on the left, you see the definitions of qualitative and quantitative. Would that be a qualitative variable or a quantitative variable? Qualitative? So a qualitative variable or a quantitative variable? Number 15, nation of origin. I see a couple people there. Quantitative, meaning, so does nation of origin, is that a numerical measure or is that a classification? Yeah, qualitative, okay. Just looking for more answers here. So let's go ahead, everybody in the chat there. Go ahead and put down, go ahead and put qualitative or quantitative, all right? All right, qualitative. Actually, qualitative, okay. All right, and so that's correct here. The answer indeed is. All right, good. Now we got people coming in. Good, 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 good. All right, so now the answer is qualitative. That is correct. Okay, very nice, very nice. Okay, no problem. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. All right, that's again, describing your ancestry from where you're from is a classification based on yourself, an individual. Okay, so again, where you're from, where your ancestry is from. Okay, he says, he says, oh yeah, you could classify me because I'm from Pakistan. You're like, okay, cool. All right, next, let's take a good look here at number 17. Number 17, grams of carbohydrates in a donut. So grams of carbs in a donut. Qualitative or quantitative? Qualitative variable or a quantitative variable? Be some quantitative there. All right. Very good. That's correct. Okay. So the number of carbs that go straight to my ass when I eat a donut is exactly a quantitative variable. All right. Okay. Maybe not just uh, carbs from the donut. Okay. Maybe the extra stuff that I eat too. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that little bit of extra, maybe a little bit of extra pocky, you know, maybe maybe that little bit of extra large bowl of popcorn. Maybe that little bit of extra, Jimmy John's. There you go. A whole weeb. Call us all out. Listen, you can't go halvesies, all right, JD. You gotta go the full. It's important, okay? Hey, listen, I'm the same, okay? Trust me. I'm making sure that we all understand we're all the equal here. My work, my workouts. Let me show you my workout for the day. Let me show you the workout that I have. Ugh, that's so much effort to push my mouse. Yeah, I got it. All right, good stuff. Yeah. For real, you're supposed to be on a diet? For real, that ain't gonna happen. You know what I realized though? I've been on several diets before. That it takes a lot of willpower. I used to be super thin. I used to be super thin. I used to be thin in Japan, but that's because you walk around everywhere. Really, when you're sitting on your butt all day because you can't go anywhere, you're like, yeah, eh. Even you have a treadmill, you're like, eh, yeah. Once you weeb in, you can't weeb out. This is true. You could take you could. It may be years before you watch anime again, but you always come back and you weeb out again on maybe a series that you really like. So that's just how it is. A little bit of manga. They're like, yeah, there you go. Okay, next. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a prediction here. I think I'd rather you not have that. Yeah, have a good time. That's good. That's exactly that's after here. Okay, exactly what we're after. So next we're gonna do number 18 that we see there on the screen. Okay. So now we can bet some channel points. Okay. All right. So right up there, the prediction is up. Okay. So what would you think here? You can win channel points. Those are the little points there right below the text box on the chat thing. So you got 45 seconds. Go ahead and click on the one that you think. You could post channel points there. Quantitative or qualitative. You could put, again, you can bet channel points there. So if you take a look there up top, you can bet some of the channel points you got here throughout the course of chatting. So there you go. Hopefully this is kind of like the first foray into it. You can win free points. You can win free points if you think it's quantitative or qualitative. You think it's quantitative or qualitative? Go ahead and mark down and bet however many points you want. Hey, yeah. I see some good answers here. Go qualitative. Quantitative, all right. All right, predictions over. All right, so let's see what the prediction outcome is going to be. All right, let's choose our outcome here. All right, so our answer here is going to be a qualitative. Very good. All right, great job. When qualitative, all right, that is correct. All right, it is indeed correct. All right, thank you, Jose. Appreciate that. All right. So it is indeed a qualitative. Again, it may be a number on a jersey. That part is true. Although it is a number on a jersey, remember that is describing what position that particular player may play. So there's in football, in like if you play in the NFL, certain numbers go with certain positions. Okay, so if you're a lower number on the chart, maybe you're a quarterback or whatnot, or a wide receiver. If you are in like the 80s or something, if you're like in the 70s, then maybe you play a different position, maybe a tackle, maybe defensive tackle, offensive tackle, something to that effect. So um, certain numbers have certain positions associated with them because they're designated as such. So qualitative is absolutely 100% correct. All right. This one here we'll go over quickly. But this time here, let's go over to see if it's discrete or continuous. Okay, so let's do another few more examples here. So discrete or continuous. All right, let's do number 24 here. So number 24, the volume of water lost each day through a leaky faucet. The volume of water lost each day through a leaky faucet. Would that be discrete or would that be continuous? So discrete or continuous? Continuous, okay. And so the answer here, let's see, we'll get a few more answers here. We have a discrete, one discrete there. Think about this, JD. Can you actually measure how much volume of water is lost every day? Can you actually measure that down to the nearest to down to the infinitesimal amount? Be a little bit hard. So the answer here is continuous. Okay, so let's talk about that here. It is continuous. All right, but let me go ahead and go through the reasoning here very carefully. Okay, so we don't know exactly how much water was lost through the leaky faucet. It could have been leaking, from a long time ago. Okay, but how fast is the water leaking? It may be a faucet, but how fast is the water leaking? Is the valve just busted and the water's just coming out in gushes? Or is it leaking like one drip at a time? How do we measure that amount of water? How can we? It may be lost there every day, but it could be any one of those variety of factors. And how do we measure that down to the nearest, down to not even the nearest, down to the very infinitesimal amount? It's constantly leaking. It's impossible to measure that volume of water at the end of the day. So, thing is that we can't assume that it's just going to be a drip, drip, drip. It could be it could be coming out in scores for all we know, like the pipe burst or something. Again, we don't know. But unfortunately, that's not measurable or countable in some way. It doesn't have a finite number of values, so therefore, that in fact will be continuous as a result. Let's try another one, though. Let's try another one. Let's try. Let's try number 26. So the number of sequoia trees in a randomly selected acre of Yosemite National Park. The number of sequoia trees in randomly selected acre of Yosemite National Park, would that be discrete or continuous? Be discrete or continuous here? Okay, excellent. So the answer is indeed discrete. That's right. So again, I have a limited amount of space because I'm only given an acre of land. So it's a limited finite space, which means I can only have a limited finite amount of trees, all right, within that space. All right. So the answer is definitely discrete. It is definitely countable. You can count the number of trees in that space, but you can only fit so much within an acre of space. All right. Let's try another prediction. This time, I'm going to go ahead and do next one here. We'll do internet connection. So number 28. So we're going to start the prediction here up top. Okay. You can bet your channel points here. All right. You could make up some free channel points. I know. So what do you think? The have 45 seconds. All right. What do you think? Discrete or continuous internet connection speed in kilobytes per second? Go ahead and bet your channel points up top. On top of the chat box, you have 30 seconds. All right, 30 seconds to make a prediction here. Discrete or continuous? Internet connection here. Discrete or continuous? So go ahead and bet there on the top of the chat box there. I see some people going for discrete, some people going for continuous. All right. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. And done. All right. So let's take a good look here at the internet connection speed in kilobytes per second. So, what's the answer here in this case? Well, our answer here in this case is going to be continuous. Continuous is the correct answer. So, continuous is the correct answer here. So, those of you who bet on continuous, you were correct. Now, see, why is it continuous here? Let's go ahead and talk about that here for just a second. All right, so the reason why it's specifically continuous here is because your internet connection is never the same at any moment in time. Remember, you don't have an actual constant internet connection. Your internet connection fluctuates up and down at all times. So if you're trying to measure out your internet connection speed in kilobytes per second, that's uncountable at the end of the day since it keeps fluctuating over and over again. All right, you may have a baseline speed, but in reality, the way how actually works for internet connection is that it always goes up and down, even by little small tiny amounts. Fair enough, but at the end of the day, it's never actually the same twice. So it's, well, it can be the same twice. It's never actually the same. It's never at a same constant rate at all times. So that's what I meant. All right, so that is how we can determine that in that case it's continuous. All right. Okay, let's try another here. Let's put up another prediction poll here. This time, though, we're going to go over to see if it's a nominal or ordinal variable. So a nominal or ordinal variable. So that'll be the next prediction here. So let's go ahead and do that one. So nation of origin here. So let's do that. We have a nation of origin. So is let's go ahead and give it a try here. We have a nation of origin. So go ahead and bet some channel points here. Is that nominal or ordinal? That's number 31 here. We have 30 seconds of which to select here. So what do you think? Nominal or ordinal? Nominal or ordinal? Go ahead and you think nation of origin, is that nominal or is that ordinal? 10 seconds. Say ordinal there. All right. So that's all done and dusted there. Let's see what our answer is going to be. Madison says nominal. Say ordinal. Okay, let's take a gander here. Let me back here. Any more examples I want to see? Okay. So in this case here, the answer is going to be the answer is nominal. The actual answer here is nominal. Nobody thought this would happen. I like how this is written up there. Nobody thought this would happen. All right. The actual answer here is actually nominal. Uh, your ancestry, where your ancestry is from, it doesn't really have a meaning to put it in order, really. It's just the country that you're from here. So, I know there's a lot of oh woes and ooh woos in the chat there, but in actuality for nominal, you don't really need a scheme that puts that variable in specific order. So in reality, is actually nominal as opposed to being ordinal. All right, there's not really a meaning to put it in order. Okay, I know you guys are sad. I'm sorry. You'll get another chance to get you'll get chances to get your channel points back by just watching, I assure you. All right, let's try one more here. This one without the prediction chats here. Let's try number 32 here. Movie ratings of say 1 star to 5 stars. So IMDb. You just knew it from the homework. Hey, fair enough, Madison. Fair enough. Fair enough. Should have put a bet on it then, Madison. You could have gotten more channel points. You would have gotten everybody's channel points. The movie rating from say 0 stars to 5 stars. Ordinal, Naomi says. All right. So what does other people think? Naomi says ordinal. Do you think it's ordinal? Does everybody else think that it's ordinal or nominal? Naomi already put one down in ordinal. So let's see what everybody else says. Is it ordinal or nominal? I don't know. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it would work on the phone, but I thought there was like maybe a small little box above the chat box there. So I don't know if it would appear on the phone or not, but yeah. Okay, everybody's saying ordinal here, and that is correct. The answer is ordinal. So you'd rate a movie from say 0 to 5 stars. You say, hey, this is a hey, this is a 0-star movie, like Battlefield Earth, you know. Yeah. All right. So so I say, yeah, Battlefield Earth is a 0-star movie or a 5-star movie. You pick your favorite 5-star movie here. So lots of great 5-star movies like Captain America or whatever. Okay, so there you go. There's a 5-star movie. Okay, whatever you want. Hey, The Green Mile. All right. There you go. No problem. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hey, hey. Okay. That was the worst movie ever. Like, yeah, it was. All right. Okay. Any questions about that before we move forward? Any questions at all? No. 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 Okay. And that's moo right back to you, Jose. And that's a nay to you, JD. Excellent. Okay. All right. So those are some examples. There are some variables that we are going to be looking at, that we are going to be working with here. All right. Now let's go to the next question here. Wait, what? I don't understand, but we're going to roll with it. All right. Let's look at question 9 here on the Look, if you guys got beef, make sure it's Italian beef. Make sure you get it from Portillo's. Okay, just saying. I'm fine with the moo, I'm fine with the nay, and I'm fine with the oink. No problem. All okay. All of you are just fine. All right. See, we're on good terms here. All right. All right, so let's look at number 9 here. What is a randomized experiment and observational study? All right. So let's talk about let's talk about a randomized experiment here. All right, so first and foremost here, a randomized experiment is going to be a study in which you have two sides. All right? You have two sides. You have the researching side, the researchers, and you have the study group that you're going to test over. In this case here, because it's an experiment, the researchers directly interfere in the study itself. So the example that I came up with here was the vaccine trials. So of course the pandemic here, we're trying to find a vaccine for the coronavirus. So of course the vaccines that are currently out now had to go through clinical trials to see how effective the vaccine was going to be. And of course, in order to do that, we had to take a randomized experiment in order to have that happen. So again, the interference in this case was to basically test the vaccine in a group of volunteers, okay, just to jab it in their arm and then see what the effects of the vaccine was going to be. Okay, of course, you had to have two groups of those people, like the control group, the actual people who got vaccinated. But the thing is that you wanted to see, you directly interfere with them, you injected them with the vaccine, and then you tested out the results to see what their effectivity was going to be. Because again, you can't make an assumption like, oh, it's 95% effective because it just works in a small batch of people. You have to test it over lots and lots of people and lots of different types of people, especially when it's medicine related. Um, then there's the other study here, which is the observational study. And that means that the researcher doesn't interfere whatsoever and just observes. So essentially, at the end of the day, they may ask you off the street, say, "Hey, can you take my survey?" And it says, "I'm doing a study to see if there's a link, between people who drink coffee and cancer risk." Now, do I think that there's a link between coffee and cancer risk? No. I just kind of this is kind of like what I used the same my last class here, but I just make it up. It's just like, okay, I'm just trying to see if it is. And so I ask you a set of questions. I said, okay, well, how much coffee you drink, or how much exercise you do, what's your age group, you know, uh, what are your hobbies or whatever, things like that. How much exercise you get per week? You ask a whole bunch of questions here, and then I just let you continue doing you. I don't get in the way, and then maybe I'll come back in 6 months, and then we talk again. And says, hey, what's your weight now? What's how much coffee you drink now? Have you noticed this, that, and the other thing? So, and then from there you can make some conclusions based on that, based on what you observe over time. All right. Now there are types of studies that are pretty common here. We're not going to go over these in too much detail here. I'll talk about maybe one of them or two of them, but I'm not going to talk about it in super detail here. Uh, Random is more controlled, yes, because again, random experiment here is more controlled because you're injecting yourself into the process. Observation is like, okay, you go off and you do you. I'm not going to get in your way. I'm just observing to see what would happen from afar and seeing if there's a pattern I can discern based on that. All I need to do is collect information, but I'm not actually injecting myself into that part of the process. Now, to kind of elaborate on that, Naomi, if we're talking about types of studies here, we talk about, say, a cohort study, confounding study, retrospective studies. Basically, you look in the past and compare it to the present. And then the ones that are most common here are, say, for like, say, clinical trials or whatnot, for any kind of new medicines. Then we talk about a single blind or double blind studies. Single blind studies is like if the researchers know who got the medicine and who did not, like they need a control group in the actual medicine group. A double blind study is where neither the researchers nor the people who are studied over actually know who got what. So the researchers don't know who got the vaccine, and then the researchers don't know who got the vaccine, and the people don't know who got the vaccine. For example, nobody knows who got what. And the reason why you actually like a double-blind study is because for doctors, they have less bias. There's less or little to no bias when you have a double-blind study because you have to objectively look at every particular volunteer in the study. So you have to look at every person in the study group, and then since you have to objectively look at them, you take away the bias because you don't know whether they got the actual medicine or they did get whether they didn't get the medicine or they did get the medicine. So you you get a much better conclusion of your studies based on looking at the macro perspective there with a double blind study. So at first it doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense, but when you remove the bias, you get much more truthful results, regardless if they are good or bad. Okay, let's take a look here at these other two questions, and then we'll move on to a few more questions here relation to this last question here. So number 11, what is a census? Well, a census is going to be a list of all individuals in a population along with certain characteristics of each individual. Now, we took a census last year here. You take the census, you say, hey, how many people live in your household? What's your financial status? Okay, how many dependents live with you? Or, whatever, what's your ethnicity? Okay, all those are, collected together within a population. It's, of course, done once every 10 years. Those are collected within a population. Those don't do a whole those basically determine policy directions, or again representatives, how many redistricting and things like that are determined based off of census results. All right. Finally, we want to talk about a simple random sample. Now, what's a simple random sample? A simple random sample is a sample that's randomly chosen in which each person within the population has an equal chance of being selected. So, meaning to say, if I want to select a sample of 100 people, okay, let's say I'm doing a survey and I want 100 people to take my survey for whatever reason, okay, then every person within that population, I want to have an equal chance of being selected. So I'm going to select 100 people from all the students at ECC, for example. So selecting you, let's say you're sitting in the classroom, I'm going to select you to be part of my survey. But then the person clear across campus could also be selected as part of my survey. It's purely random about how I choose people, the 100 people that I'm going to choose for my survey, and each one of them has an equal chance of being selected at the end of the day. Okay, now there's no rhyme or reason why I'm picking the person clear across campus and why I'm picking you here and say if you're sitting in the classroom with me. Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason. It's purely simple random chance. So but the equality is there, and that's essentially what we're after in a lot of these surveys. Is basically trying to get it as random as possible to pick uh, to pick the sample that we need there for our say our survey in our case. Now let's take a good look here at the next one. Okay. Now I do need to get through these a little bit quickly, so I do apologize if I'm rushing through this just a little bit. So may go a little bit of extra time here, but we do need to get through at least the first four bits of these questions. Now, the last question there talked about a simple random sample. One of the things that's understood in terms of doing a survey or a study is related to how we choose those samples. Because in all honesty, I don't want to have to pick a sample that's clear across campus. I don't want to pick a person that's part of my survey. I can pick a person here, like in the classroom, but I don't want to pick a person clear across the other side of campus. It makes no sense. Okay, I don't want to have to run all the way over there. That person has an equal chance of being selected, yes, but it's going to spend so much time and energy, and it's a waste of time and energy, to be honest. Maybe there's an easier way, a lazier way of actually collecting those same 100 people. And so, what we see here in the next few sections is we see there's different types of sampling that we can actually do. So, if we take a look at question one here, and this is from the 141516 handout, is talking about those types of samplings that where we can collect those 100 people and still be random at the same time. Just maybe a little bit easier to do. So, let's look at question one. Question one says, what is a stratified sample? So a stratified sample says a sample that you select by separating the population in groups and then selecting a sample from those groups. So basically, you pick a characteristic. You could pick age range. Okay, so let's say age range here. So you have an ages from like you have ages from like 0 to 17, and then 18 to 34, and 35 to 49, and 50 to whatever. And then you select a sample from each one of those age groups. So you basically split it up, and then you select a sample from each one of those age groups to get a proper representation. That is what we call a stratified sample. Okay, so I can still get the same 100 people. I can just first classify them first before I do so. All right, that's a stratified sample. Next is systematic, sampling. This basically means is that you select every nth person starting from anywhere until you get the sample size you require. And what does that mean? Well, let's take a good look here at the example. That basically means it's like, again, I want to get 100 people, and let's say I have a whole line of people here that are just kind of going past me taking a survey. Well, I can make a little system in my head, and I can say, okay, let me see what's going to work until I get those 100 people as being part of my sample. All right, so how's that going to work? Well, here's the example. Let me choose, and this is, you don't have to pick every fifth person, but let's say I'm going to choose every fifth person, starting with, say, the fourth person line, and it can literally be anywhere in line. So you could say, I don't have to start at the fourth person. I could start at the first person. I could start at the second person. It doesn't matter where you start. And but I say start with the fourth person in line until we get 100 people for our sample. So I could start with the fourth person in line, and then I go to the ninth person in line because that's five more people after. Then I go to the 14th person in line because that's five more people after. I go to the 29th, go to the 19th person in line, and so forth, 24, 29, until I have 100 people that are part of my taking my survey at the end of the day. Let's look at number three. What is cluster sampling? Well, it's exactly as it sounds. It's a sample selected within a cluster of objects or people. So again, this example that I thought of here is you select everyone in the back row of desks in a classroom to be part of the sample. So I don't have a rhyme or reason why I'm selecting everybody in the back row. I just select those people in the back row because of whatever. Okay, they could produce different results, but again, it's random in nature. All right, I could pick everybody who's in a particular building on campus. All right, I could pick everybody in a particular neighborhood. I don't know. All right, I want to try and get as random as possible. All right, that's going to be my sample at the end of the day. All right, and then that's again, I just pick them in chunks until I get 100 people. So I just keep picking them in chunks, and that's again why we call it cluster sampling, because they're just picking in a big old cluster, and then now you're part of my sample at the end of the day. Now, finally, number four is where we stopped there in the first one. So, I want to go over number four here, and I'll stop there. So, what is a sample of convenience? So, the definition here is pretty simple. It's like the sample that you choose out of convenience. It'd be like, yeah, that's pretty obvious. But let's talk about the example that we have here. Let's think about the store survey in front of the store. Now, probably by saying, well, why is that a sample of convenience? Well, here's the thing. If we want things to be convenient, we want to think of it as kind of like I want to be if I'm given a survey, right? I want to be as lazy as possible giving out that survey. I don't want to spend so much time trying to get those 100 people. Uh, you know, um, you know, maybe maybe to work hard, I want to work smart. You know what I'm saying? So basically, at the end of the day, I could be standing out in front of the store and says, "Hey, tell me how our store is doing. Okay, is our store doing good? Is our store doing bad? I don't know how our store is doing. Tell us." All right. But one thing I'm not going to do, because it's a convenience store, right? Absolutely, 100%. Well said, Planet. Touche. um, but one thing we could take to the bank is I'm not going to run into the store and give you a survey. That takes too much effort and time. I'm going to wait for you to come to me in the front of the store and be like, hey, here's a survey. Could you please take it? That would be great. We want to better serve our customers. All right, here you go. So here's a survey. Wonderful stuff. Everybody's a winner. So I'm not going to run into the store and give you a survey till I get 100 people. No, I could just wait for you and just here you go. Got it. The convenience is phrased from the store versus an online survey. Yeah, actually, weird part about online surveys is that people don't respond to online surveys as much as they respond to say phone surveys or paper surveys. In my opinion, that happens to be true. It's easy to make a quick snap online survey, but in reality, I think unless you're being goaded to do it, usually people don't do online surveys. So if I am trying to encourage you to do like if I encourage you to do like a survey here online through Twitch, then sure, I think we can come to an agreement. I'm asking you to do it so you would answer however you want, honestly, at the end of the day. But if I give you a paper-based survey, you may be more inclined to do it because you're like, oh, I got to fill out the blanks and then I can give it back. Or again, something to that effect. The lazy way is the best way. That's correct. That's correct. So I found that paper-based surveys are better than online surveys in that regard, unless the online surveys are kind of given right then and there, sort of deal, in my opinion. So if they're so that's something that you can take to the bank there. Um, are there any questions? I'm gonna stop here for today. By the way, apologies if I went a little bit over time here, but let's stop here. Are there any questions about anything that I went over? Also, all very good questions, by the way. Today. Appendi. Hey. All right. So hopefully I made it clear for you guys, about kind of what's going on here at the very least. Done. All right. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out here today. We're going to finish up this handout here for next time. So we're going to come back here and start up with this handout here. Again, this replay will be right here on Twitch right after the stream is over. Again, if you need to, if you need me to be on office hours today, again, please just let me know now. All right. In the meantime, though, we will see you on Wednesday, same time, same place, everybody. I hope you enjoy the next couple of days, and we will see you then. All right? Let's get some ramen. Yeah, got that right. Have a great day, y'all. We'll see you all on Wednesday. All right? Have a good one. All right, have a good one, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you then. All right? Have fun. Have some fun. Eat some good food. You guys have made me hungry. It's time for some lunch. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. And a moo to you too, JD. We'll see you guys, all right? Bye.